Everyone feels scared. Even celebrities are insecure after they're on video. So you're not alone. And just remember why you're doing it, right? You're doing it to serve a purpose, to teach, to grow your business. So really stick to that. And don't let the noise and insecurity hold you back in your business.
So you want to make an impact. You're thinking about starting a business, sharing your voice. How do women do it that handle motherhood, family, and still chase after those dreams? Well, listen each week as we dive into the stories of women who know. This is Call Me CEO. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Call Me CEO. This is your host, Camille Walker, and today we are talking about something I know you all are going to want to hear more about because we're talking about confidence being on camera. Today, we have Kim Rittberg, who is an award-winning on-camera coach and video and content expert who focuses on helping brands and professionals supercharge their business through video content and by being camera ready. Now, we all need help with that, and we are going to chisel that down to being confident on camera, a framework specifically for that, and also a framework for amazing video. I am so excited about this, Kim. Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you for having me. It's so excited to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because as working moms, we all know that things pop up. We have challenges that, let's face it, parents who work outside of the home don't have to deal with the same set of rules sometimes. And we've had to reschedule this a couple of times due to things out of our control. So I'm so grateful that it worked out today.
Yeah, I feel like this season is like, how many times can you be in a time loop of like your kids being sick and then it's bad weather and then everything's canceled, school's canceled.
Yes. Not to mention, this is the week before Christmas and we are doing the thing. So I am so excited for our audience to learn more about you. I mean, my goodness, you've been on executive director at Netflix, on People Magazine, like all of these incredible accolades. So tell our audience about you and how you got started.
Sure. So thank you again for having me. I'm really excited to chat. I run my own company where I advise professionals and business owners on how to grow their business, grow revenue, grow clients through being better on camera and social video strategy. So what I love now is because I am a small business owner and I made this decision because I'm a mom of two, that I'm now using what I know to empower others. And it's been really fun. So my background is I launched the digital video unit for Us Weekly. So that means they had a empty conference room, much like most of us have, like an empty conference room and no videos, even though they had a really great magazine and a website, the celebrity magazine, they didn't have video. So I came in and I sort of built them a system. So process, operations, creative, a look and feel, brand strategy, and really built that to be a machine. And so that was really exciting for me to get to be an entrepreneur within a business.
Very
and then
cool.
And then I did branded content at Pop Sugar. So lots of amazing lifestyle brands, mom brands, and trying to make content that people want to watch. People don't want to watch commercials unless it's the Super Bowl. So that was what I did there. And I worked at Netflix in marketing. And before that, I was in TV. So I did lifestyle and news, writing and producing, travel, real estate, news. So a little bit of everything. But what I love is now everything's coming together. It's all about storytelling. You have to be making video to run your business. And so I love that I get to apply all the things I've learned over 15 years to help other business owners. And also it's helped myself so much. Like, Netflix has tons of money. Pop Sugar has money. The brands have money. I'm a small business owner. So I need to know, like, how do I make great content on a DIY as a DIY, so I'm really enjoying like teaching other people that. And same with being on camera. You're running your own business. You have to be on camera. Like you absolutely need to be on camera. And so it's pretty amazing to see people transform and realize that, you don't have to be someone else. You just have to be the most authentic and confident version of yourself. And that's the key.
Oh, I love that. And I feel like we know this, but it can feel so out of reach when we pull out that camera and we're like, where do I even start? Like you start to have, it's funny because someone that I coach, it said, I imagine that mean girl in high school that like, I thought hated me. And I imagine, what is she going to think if she sees this video? And we all have that inner mean girl somewhere in our life. There's been that person where you think, oh, what if they see this? What are they going to think? So I'm so curious, just as that very root question, what is your first bit of advice for someone who's being held up by those insecurities?
The best quote I have found has been from the most valuable piece of knowledge, the internet. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So it's really important to remember that might there be that mean girl at the lunch table, hate scrolling you? Sure. You know what there also might be? 10, 20, 100, 1,000, 5,000 people who want to learn from you or buy your product or just think you're cool. And I think it's really hard for us psychologically. We think of it, that one person who trash talked everybody. But you know what? That person, they're just sad or jealous or mean. And letting that impact your life and your happiness, you're going to regret that. Like, let's say you have a business, you're selling your own soaps online. You're going to not get on Instagram and not show a behind the scenes video of making your soap when that might attract 5, 10, 15, 20 customers because you're worried that Kelly from high school is judging you. You know what? Kelly from high school doesn't run her own business. Yeah. Kelly from high school isn't an expert, isn't a real estate agent trying to find new clients. So I think that, yes, yeah, maybe someone's hate scrolling you. Who cares? Also, it's Instagram. If they really don't want to look at you, they're just going to not follow you or they're going to mute you. So that's the truth. Is we've all had it. I've had people who like I watch and they don't make me feel good about myself. And so I just like mute them. So A, it's mutual. You can mute them. They can mute you. But B, you really have to think about your why, because I think that drives people. So I felt self-conscious. I had mostly been behind the camera, like really helping other people get out their message, make awesome videos. I'd done a little bit of on-camera reporting. I hosted some videos for Us Weekly, but not that much, like probably 5% or 10% of my whole career was on camera. And I started to realize, wait a second, I'm telling people to be on camera. I'm running my own business. Like, I have a lot to say. I have so much to teach people. Why wouldn't I do that on video? I'm a video strategist. What's wrong with me? So I think that realization of I think I'm helping people. Truly, I get people being like, this tip was so helpful. Thank you. And if I had been staying in my office and only posting some photos of my family or just writing some text, I'm not helping those people. I'm not reaching those people. Some of them could be my clients, but also I could just help people. And I think having that fear and that insecurity lock away your greatest asset is a shame. And don't let don't let Kelly from the Mean Girls table, lock you away in a closet. And I think it's also, lastly, it's giving more power to people that don't deserve the power, but B, sorry, this is my biggest lesson. You think everyone's thinking about you. Everyone's thinking about what they're eating for lunch. Yeah. Actually, no one's thinking about you. So that one Kelly person, that mean girl at lunch, probably is thinking about what she's having for lunch. But if she isn't, if she is hate scrolling you, she'll mute her. You'll mute her. She'll mute you. You'll unfollow each other. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I love that. I love taking the intensity out of it. And a lot of times, honestly, it's our own mind that is our worst enemy, that we're like creating scenarios. One of my favorite quotes that I've heard about this is someone saying, someone that is above you, so to speak, or like is outdoing, is never going to criticize you because they're busy. They're busy building their own empire or like helping other people or building their own business or their own life empire, whatever that is. It's people that do less than you that are going to criticize because it's that own insecurity that they bring to the arena. You know, I heard it this way, that it's like, we're all in this arena together where like, if you're on video, if you're creating content, if you are doing something out in the public eye, that you are in the arena. And we're all here to support each other. It's those people who are not in the arena that are going to point and pick and jab because they're not doing the thing. So I love that idea of like, we're in this together, and the people who are not in the arena are not worth your time. You know, it's like, they're sad, lonely, or hateful or mean. Like, it's just not worth your time to worry about it.
And I also think about it like now that I'm a parent, my daughter is 7 and she says something sometimes like, I don't want to look stupid or blah, blah, blah. And today I said, because she drew a picture and it had a little picture of her and it said dumb, but like a couple of versions of her. One was the artist version of her, one was the other version of her, and one said dumb. I said, are you saying that you feel dumb or that's the version of you that looks dumb? She's like, yeah, that's the version of me that looks dumb. And I said, do you think people think you look dumb? And she's like, oh, well, like, I guess sometimes. And I was like, I really don't think people think that. I said, do you think your friends look dumb? She said, no. I said, then your friends don't think you look dumb. And I think the same exact thoughts are going through our minds, that we're all afraid that we look dumb. But think about your experience online. Like most of your life is not hate scrolling, right? And if it is hate scrolling, like maybe you should see a therapist. But I think that most of our life is not hate scrolling. And in the same way that we're worried about the mean girl at the table for lunch, it's that mean girl who's really, truly mean. As soon as you get over the age that you're like a little more mature, you realize that person's probably insecure or sad and something else going on inside of them. And it really has nothing to do with you.
Yes.
And then applying that to yourself and taking lessons away from that, like I shouldn't be on camera or I shouldn't put myself on social media because Kelly from the mean table is judging me. Not only does that give her more power, but it's also probably wrong.
Yeah. You know, I love that you put that framework for your child and reverse that thought process of, well, how do you feel? And what do you think do you think of that of your friends? And she's like, well, no, I love them, you know? And it's like, oh gosh, if we could just teach ourselves, it's the same lesson for us over and over again, that it's like, well, then give yourself that grace of like loving yourself and imagining that that's what others are thinking too.
I now say, would I say this to my child? If no, don't say it to yourself, because I'm very hard on myself. I think it's like I've been successful in my career, but some of it is, I drive myself hard. And I'm trying to say, hey, celebrate your wins. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you wouldn't say it to your daughter or your son, don't say it to yourself, Kim. So, I think we're all growing together. This is a learning process for all of us, right? We're all transforming ourselves and trying to be more fulfilled and happier. And it's a learning curve.
Cool. Okay. And I have to tell you the flip side of that coaching client that I'm talking about. Funny thing is, that person that she imagined before she was creating these videos and so worried that she thought these certain things, they ended up being online business allies, and they now work together to create content online. And I'm like, that is so cool. Like what? It
just goes to show you whatever you're thinking, it's never that bad. Like you always think the worst, but it's not.
Yes. Okay. Well, perfect. I feel like we've really laid the foundation. I have to ask you first before we go into these frameworks, what was it that made you leave these very high, profile positions to create your own business and to leave that hustle in the corporate world? What changed?
Having kids. I had I had 2 babies. I had the Us Weekly video baby that I birthed, and I had my actual baby at the exact same time. And so I was pumping 3 times a day in my office. And weirdly, with one child, it was doable. And I was really passionate about it. And I had this amazing team I fostered. But as I had my second 2 years later, the company was bought and everybody was fired. And my team and we were not fired, but all of my peers and my allies were laid off. And I had to move all the studio to a whole new location. And I was honestly 9 months pregnant. And I just was like, oh, I worked so hard, not just in this job, but like for 15 years. And this is like success. And I'm looking around and it's all crumbling. And then I'm in the delivery room scrolling on my phone, looking at resumes, trying to save what I had built. And I just realized I love what I do. I love making content. I love helping people be better on camera. Is there a way to do it in a way that I have more control? I can be with my kids. I can travel less. And I was like, I think there is. And let me see if there is. Maybe there is. I don't know. And so I went through that sort of weird path of asking myself, can I do it? No, you can't do it. Maybe you can. No, you can't. Yes, you can. And then I was like, I'm really committed to working for myself, finding a path where I'm helping others grow brands, businesses, teaching them how to make amazing video and podcasts, and saving some time and mental energy for my family, my kids, and my husband. So It has been, I'm in year 4, which is crazy, but it's been unbelievable. I won 5 awards last year.
Wow.
For video series I did for a client, and it was for this nonprofit. And I was so proud of the videos, but winning those awards meant so much because like leaving a high status job was really hard. And believing in myself that I could build my own business was also hard. And seeing it happen has been just unbelievable. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, thank
you.
It's been yay. Thank you.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Well, today we're all in for a treat because you are sharing with us a framework of how to create amazing video and a framework of how to show up confident on camera. So you are all so lucky. I'm so lucky to dive into this. Which one do you want to start with first?
Let's start with being ready for on camera, because before you even make the video, you got to be ready to be on the video, right?
Right. Yes, I like it.
Okay, so I have a little framework. I'm calling it Patch. It's the Patch framework. So we talked a little bit about the mentality of being on camera and putting yourself out there. And I think that's really important to unlock, that you're going on camera to help people. Because I think that's like, that unlocks a lot of the stress of worrying about what mean girl Kelly is saying about you.
Yes.
And then once you're committed to, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be on camera, I think the Patch framework is where you can come. So PATCH. So P, prepare. You cannot feel good if you're not prepared. Even, live TV show hosts, they're all prepared. They rarely ad lib. So you have to remember to prepare, and you're preparing your message, but you're also preparing your actual demeanor. I think there's 2 things to think about when you're doing a video. Am I calm? Do I feel calm and steady? Do I feel energetic? Am I smiling? And then there's, what am I saying in this video? Right?
Yeah.
So if you're like a real estate agent or a small business owner and you're sitting down for like a 1 or 2 minute video about who you are and what you do, you're really going to be thinking about like, what am I saying in this video? Right. And so that preparation is the key. And that's the key to like, even before starting, don't even put your camera out, just like prepare, do the strategy preparation, the message preparation, and like your balance energy preparation. This is the best, authentic. When we were younger, you had to be this perfect person in a pageant. You had to be like perfect diction, perfect looks, perfect everything. And now you just need to be the most confident version of yourself. And I think that's freeing, right?
Yeah.
It's freeing. And you think about it, when you listen to a podcast and the creators that you follow on social, are they perfect or are they interesting in their own unique way? And
I think, for sure. Interesting. Yeah.
Right. Like podcast hosts, right? They're like celebrities in their own rights now. They're regular people. They're writers, they're beauty experts, they're travel experts, whatever. But they're not all like these perfect broadcasters, So being the best and most authentic version of you is all that is required today. And I feel like that was different 20 years ago, but today that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a T. The T of Patch is turn off distraction. So right before you're about to record, you can't be checking emails, and your phone has to be on do not disturb. Your brain is doing a lot of things, and it needs to focus on the one thing that it's doing at that exact moment. It's really, really important to turn that off. And then C, confidence. Again, it's about authenticity and confidence. Everything else will fall into place, but you have to believe you're awesome. Ever hear somebody like, I had a client who would be on TV. He'd go on live TV and he was so smart. Then he'd sit down for like a YouTube video and he'd be like questioning the way he was saying everything. I'm like, you're really smart. You're a lawyer. You have all these clients. They listen to you. You're a great lawyer. Like, you just have to remember when you're sitting down, just teach me something. Be confident. Like, I think remembering that you know what you're talking about. You might not be confident if someone's going to ask you to sit down and make a video about neuroscience.
Yeah.
But ideally, you're talking about the thing you know about. So confidence is super important. And the confidence is also going to bring in that energy. Ever hear somebody when they're like, so I wanted to teach you about neuroscience today. So the most important things, you don't believe me. You're not going to believe me. You're not going to think of me as an expert. So you have to feel confident, and then you have to express that confidence in your voice with energy. The last one is this is, I think, like a really great tip that I have come to find this word in the last few years, harness. So harnessing your energy and being self-aware of who you are is super important. And that means people hate this part. I'm sorry, guys, but that means watching yourself on video. Because we all hear, scientifically, we hear our voice differently than the world hears it. So there's a scientific reason why someone hears their voice on a voice message or voicemail or on video and is like, oh no, I sound so terrible. You're hearing vibrations in your head differently. So you hear your own voice differently. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's normal. Fine. But then you need to be attuned to what the world actually sees. And you need to harness that, not just like in your own voice, but in your energy. So I know I'm self-aware. I am high energy and I'm a fast talker. So when I prepare for being on camera, I have to harness my energy to still be up, but be more even. Because if I'm talking too fast, people can't understand me. So harnessing your energy, some people have really chill, relaxed energy, and that's good, but they might need to raise their energy. So to that person, I would be like, you should listen to some Lizzo before you're doing that video.
Yeah. Or whatever it is that hypes you up.
Yes, exactly. Maybe it's not Lizzo. Maybe it's Ariana Grande or somebody else, but,
or AC/DC.
Or AC/DC. Oh my God. The other day I used the Rolling Stones as my other example. I was like, you pick your music. And so like for me, I know harnessing my energy means I know that my natural energy is to talk fast. So harnessing that is to do some deep breathing, bringing that energy right before I'm going on, balancing myself out so that I'm not 15% too fast for whoever I'm talking to, or the video or a podcast or whatever. So I think that's super important because at the very end, and then so patch is how to prepare to being on camera. And then as you're like about to go on camera, deep breathing, that balances you out for energy, which is awesome. And then you're going to raise your energy back up. So deep breathing to make you feel calm and centered. And then you're raising your energy up so people are hearing that joy and that confidence in your voice.
Do you suggest that people smile when they talk? I've heard
some people
1,000%
say, yes,
that it comes across different. Because I've even done that before where I've been doing, say, like a voiceover for a TikTok video or a reel or something like that. And I'll be talking into it and then I re-listen to it. And I'm like, oh, I sound tired, So then I have to go back and think, okay, I need to smile and then re-deliver this level of, whatever it is that I'm doing. So what are some tips with bringing up that energy? Because I know smiling is one of them. Do you have other ideas as well?
Yes, smiling is absolutely. You should always smile unless you're doing a video about a tragedy. Always be smiling. The other thing is practicing your voiceover skill. Voiceover is very hard. People think voiceover is just, if you can get your voiceover to sound like a conversation, then you won. That's great. So the more you practice is good because we all use our reading voice. So when someone's reading, they're reading something like this. Today on Call Me CEO is Kim Rittberg. That's very flat. But conversationally, you'd be like, today on the podcast is Kim Rittberg. So the point of when you're doing voiceover and you're doing something that's like reading, you have to extra inject your natural conversational voice. That takes a lot of practice. The only thing that can help you is practice. So what you're going to do if you're doing voiceovers specifically and reading something, you're going to take the words, you're going to put those right near your microphone. When you're saying the words, two ways. You're taking the words right in front of your microphone. As you're saying them, you're not looking at the paper, you're looking at the wall, or you're looking at your lamp, or you're looking at something. You're talking to that thing. If you want to read it off the paper, you have to feel and envision every single word. These are tips I got like 20 years ago from a voiceover coach that I still use. I find both of those very helpful. When I started doing my own podcast, I was doing my reads too either salesy or flat. Like, today on the show, you're going to meet, that's too salesy. And then today on the show, you're going to meet blah, blah, blah. That's too flat. So you really want to inject conversational tone into words when you're reading them. So that's the same as teleprompter. So if you're a business owner and you're doing a demo and you want to use a prompter app in your phone, that's great. I have nothing against a prompter app. I think it's great because you can then retrieve all the words and not have to remember them. you have to remember when you're reading saps your energy. So you have to inject your energy back. So for prompter, let's say you're doing a YouTube series where you're being like the top 10 natural beauty products, here they are. As you're reading it, you have to make sure you're talking the words, you're feeling the words, and you're talking through the camera to a person, to anything in your office. So I think that that's really important to just remember that we have a reading voice and we have a speaking voice. And your job, if you're trying to committed to being better, is getting your voice closer to the conversational voice and further away from the flat reading voice. And it's the same with video. That's so specific to voiceover. It's the same with video though. When the red light turns on, when we are recording, it saps a little bit of energy. So you have to inject your energy back, knowing that the camera steals your energy.
That's such good advice. I did a YouTube series with a crew. Gosh, my son just turned 9. So it was 9 years ago. And I remember them giving me that advice of like, I want you to imagine you're speaking to someone, but you have to like deliver it with a little more oomph, because the camera, like you're saying, it kind of filters it out like through a lens. So you almost have to like give it just a little bit more, which in the beginning, like you say, I was like, okay, like, am I being loud enough? Like you just feel, I don't know, it takes practice. And I feel like over time, not like I'm a pro, because like you coach pros, but I have gotten more and more confident over the past decade because it's something I've just had to do over and over again. And I feel like practice really does help. So that's amazing advice. It has been for me.
I think the learning piece, I think people should take courses, take courses to learn it, B, take coaching courses to practice it, and then C, you have to practice it on your own. So I've gone through a lot of courses. I mean, I've taken voiceover courses, I've done editing, whatever. I've taken a lot of different courses, but then there's no substitute for practice. You really have to just stop reading and just start doing. And, a lot of people feel it's a good way to start is in Instagram stories. You know, it's going to disappear after 24 hours. So just play around with talking to the camera, and also talk to the camera in your everyday life. That's the best practice. Another thing is take every opportunity to be practicing. So last year, for example, I was giving a thank you gift to our preschool teachers. I mean, it's a nothing event, not a nothing event. It's not a great professional panel of experts, whatever. But I thought, hey, there are going to be 20 people there. Why don't I use that as an opportunity to apply my on-camera training tips? So I actually prepped myself. I was like, okay, here's my energy I'm breathing. Because even if you're standing in front of 20 people, your body is responding to that. It does feel nervous. Yeah. Even it does feel nervous. It's a natural fight or flight method. So realizing that, I thought, okay, I'm going to do my practice my breathing. I had notes prepared. It was just 3 bullets. It was like, thank you, teachers, for this and that. Bullet 1, you, teacher, so-and-so, did these amazing things. These are a couple key quotes from the kids. Goodbye. But I prepared. I harnessed my energy, and I did some deep breathing. And it sounds silly, but how many opportunities do we have to public speak? Most of us don't have that many opportunities. So anytime you do have, try to use that as an opportunity. Your next book club. Try to think about what you're going to say, breathe deep, practice saying it in a more confident way, in a way that you might use on video. And I think really using everyday opportunities is helpful. And then also your phone. Prop your phone on your dresser and just talk to your dresser. If you're a business owner, start telling that phone about who you are, what your product is, why it's awesome. Start taking people on your day. Oh my God, I ordered a chai latte today. I've never tried chai before. Should I drink it? Whatever. Just bring people in. I think it's really important because you can't get better without practicing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And one thing that has been really helpful to me and helpful to friends of mine who haven't been as confident talking on camera is an app called Marco Polo. And it's like a walkie-talkie app, but it's video only. And it's one of my favorite apps because it's a really wonderful way for families to stay in touch that are not together, or friends. Like you can make groups, but it's a really handy way to practice video and presenting to a group. It's a digital group, but it's people that you know, love, and trust. So you can feel, more comfortable with seeing your face and your body and your voice on camera. and know that it's okay. Like it's okay to practice that in that space. So that's been really helpful too.
I love that. I've never heard of that before. So thank you for teaching me.
I will connect you. I know the owners of the app and like their foundation of who they are. I should have them on the show. I haven't had them on the show yet, but it's all about connecting family long distance. And so it's incredible. Okay. So I love all those tips. I'm so excited where we've gone so far. So let's go on to framework for amazing video.
Great. So amazing video, obviously it depends, on your budget and what you're shooting. But I think the most important thing is the strategy is to make good video, whether you're like investing and doing like a whole big shoot or just filming on your iPhone. Making good video is within reach. You can do it on your iPhone by yourself. I would recommend getting a light or like a tripod, like a ring light and a tripod, but making good video is within reach. So I think that sometimes like I come from Netflix and Us Weekly, and of course I've done these big shoots. Yeah, but we're all small business owners now, right? So we all have to think about like, how do we make more with less? Mm-hmm. But the underlying strategies of telling a great story and making a great video remain. So I have a little framework, which is perfect for me because I am messy. I'm actually not a neat person. So it's the messy framework.
Good. I like it.
It's personal. So the very first thing, and when I'm talking about a message, so M is for message. So when I say message, when I talk about video, it can be your message in a reel for 10 seconds, or it could be your message in a YouTube video that's 3 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. Mm-hmm. When you're working on videos for your business, videos where you're explaining to people, you're teaching them who you are, what you do, and you're separating yourself from the pack. You're moving yourself from professional to thought leader. That's a great time to sit down and explain what you know to potential clients. So your message in that video is going to be what you're teaching someone. So message is number one. Make sure your message is not too complicated. So it cannot be for only people in your industry. If you're a beauty insider, unless you're working only for beauty insiders, talking about the specific ingredients, very nitty gritty in each product, it might be too over the head for your audience, unless it's an industry audience. So if you have a beauty product or something like that, your message is going to be not too complicated. So ask your granny and ask your 7-year-old neighbor. If they both understand what you're talking about, you have a great message. If they don't, you want to boil it down more. You want to simplify it. Okay. So number one, your message should be very, very simple. The E is for easy to understand. So you get your message, you make sure people understand it. By that, I mean, it should be clear, concise. So take out 30%, whatever you wrote, strike through 30%. We all talk more than we need to if we're trying to get a really specific message across. So take what you've written and slice it through. So make sure it's distilled down to like the easiest, clearest parts. So we have the M and the E of messy, and now we're at S, strategy plan. Strategy plan. Please don't start filming until you have a plan. Your money and your time will run out. It's like a sand timer, and you don't want to do that. Right. Like even if it's you're like, I'm not spending any money, it's just me and my iPhone. I promise you, you're busy. Everyone's busy. Like your time is valuable. So without a plan, you're going to run out of time or money. So you have to have a plan and you have to prioritize. So the ways to think about like what you should or shouldn't be doing and how you should approach it is how much time you commit, how much time you can commit, how much money you can commit, and what you want to get out of it. So like really identifying your goals is a super important part of that. A lot of times people like come to me that I work with clients and they're like, oh, I want to do these fun videos. And I'm like, let's look at this document, which has your goals. Does this video idea align with your goals? And I'm not being mean about it. I'm just like, really make sure, because your time is precious and it's fun to play around with trends. I think that's super important, but like make sure everything you're making aligns with your goals. Otherwise, you're going to look back in 6 months and be like, oh man, I spent so much time and money on that. And like, I didn't really bring in clients, or like, I didn't really get my message across. Oh, that's a bummer. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that. Don't do that. So really make sure it's aligning with your goals. I always have, everyone has their own style, but like a sticky note with like your top 3 goals on your computer. And we're all brainstorming, a lot of fun ideas for content. Look at that sticky note. Does it align with those goals? And if the answer is no, you put it on a page for later. and you put it at a time when you really do have extra time and you want to try and play with that. That's fine. S, there's another S. Yay. Yay. Smile.
I love that sticky note idea, by the way, because I feel like there is so much power in sticky notes. We've started using them with my 14-year-old son, and he has ADHD, and he doesn't think in terms of lists. He thinks in terms of visual. And so he's been using sticky notes to create and release things that are on his mind. So he'll stick it up like, I need to get this thing done. And because it's visual and a little bit messy, it's very satisfying to pull it off the wall. So I love the idea of using a sticky note to focus on what your main goals are. So as you're creating content and video and even content online or whatever it is, like, does it align with those main goals? Because I feel like those little sticky notes can be just that little reminder of like, oh yeah, so I'm going to use that. I think that's super helpful.
Great. And also to that point, there's a hierarchy, right? So that sticky note has the stuff at the top of your importance list. I'm using my arm so much, by the way, right now. I'm like really handy today. It's taking that sticky note and, okay, well, what about the other 10 things on your list? The sticky note is the most important or most urgent. Yeah. Because I don't know about you, my to-do list, I'm not even kidding, it's a Google Doc that's 80 pages long.
Wow.
It's like an encyclopedia. Like I just search for something and I find it. That's not what I use. What do I use each day? I use one to-do list for that day that has like 5 bullets. So I do the sticky note as a one-day thing, but as your goals, absolutely. I love that it's visual. I agree with you. Visual. And also so much of us, we're doing so much stuff on our phones that I actually think having a physical analog piece of paper, I don't make a lot of lists, but I use paper at strategic times when I want it to remain higher on my list. Or I'm trying to not play with my phone because I'm with my kids or something. So I have pens and paper out for things I'm remembering, jotting them down while I'm with my kids. They're not feeling that I'm distracted by my phone.
Yes. Ooh, I like that tip too. See, another sticky note. So do you use sticky notes for your list or just any paper?
I have just any notepad that's around. I just grab it. I put a pen out if I'm with my kids. Because listen, I feel like we have so many things on our minds. Like,
oh yeah.
We have so much going on. We have the kids stuff, we have business stuff, whatever. And I come up with ideas or I will remember something I forgot about, but I really don't want to be on my phone with my kids. So I put paper out and I jot it down on that paper. And like they have paper, we're all drawing or we're doing Legos. It doesn't feel to them like mommy left the room.
Left the building. Yes.
Yes. Mommy's brain has exited. It doesn't feel that way to them. So I make sure to use paper and pens strategically.
Ooh, I really like that. I feel like that's a life hack for anyone of like, if you're with someone, putting a phone in the face is like immediately you're like, and they're out. Like our conversation or our presence is over. So awesome. Okay. Next, on to the next S. Yay.
Okay. So we're at MESSY. M, message. E, easy to understand. S, strategy. S, smile because you're on camera. So
we talked
in
about
the
that.
videos. Yeah. In the videos, a lot of us were like hostage. We're like hostages. Don't look like a hostage in your video. A, smile. B, you're on camera. So it's a double reminder of you got to put yourself on camera. I think there's a lot of videos that can be a pretty beach or a cartoon graphic or a quote or whatever. You really have to be on camera. I assume that, if people are on camera, they're probably trying to grow their business or grow themselves as an expert or a thought leader, in their service industry. You have to bring yourself at the front of it. So I think that's just really important to remember and smile because it brings warmth. And not only it warms up your voice, it creates a connection. People definitely are going to want to know you, like you, trust you more if you're smiling as opposed to those hostage videos that we shoot. And then last Y, you are a journalist. You are never selling. And by never selling, I mean like 10% of the time you're selling. But when you're making videos, you should think like a journalist. What would a media outlet make? What's a headline that would really catch someone's eye? That headline is not buy my soap. That headline could be how X ingredients damage your skin and why mine doesn't. Or like, other example, I work with a lot of real estate agents. You're not selling. Hi, I'm Kim. I'm selling you your home in Brooklyn. Here are the 5 new interior design trends for this year. That is bringing people in. It's positioning yourself as an expert. It's introducing you to people. you're not selling your business and selling yourself. You're bringing content that draws people in, and then you're building that relationship. So I think that's really, really important to remember. That's where I feel like I worked in media for 15 years. I worked in TV news. I worked in Us Weekly, Netflix, Pop Sugar. You're always trying to come up with ideas. Like, for example, I did this great series with Swiffer for Pop Sugar, where it was, they wanted, Swiffer wants you to show the broom that cleans up after babies or animals or whatever on the floor. It's like a wet mop.
A wet mop. Yeah.
Wet mop. Exactly. And we said, okay, we'll do it with animals. And I was like, you know what? Why don't we do it the most pampered pig in America? Because people love like over the top, the superlative, the biggest, the most. They like lists, numbers, 10 things at this, I said, let's make it the most pampered pig in America. And we did this like little funny video about this pig who honestly was like wearing pearls and lace and whatever.
Oh my gosh.
And yes, we had the Swiffer cleaning up after the pig.
Cute.
But it was not an ad. It was a video people wanted to watch. That video did amazing. And it was sponsored content. But people wanted to watch it because it was a cute, funny pig. The Swiffer's in there. They still sold Swiffers for sure from that series. And they were really happy with it. But that's how you have to think about it. Like, what's a video people would want to watch that's going to bring people into you, as opposed to here's what you can buy from me. Here's how you can work with me. That part is important. Like, how you can work with me is an important component of your business that exists. But content, and most of your content should just be to build relationships and position yourself, your product as amazing, or yourself as an expert.
Oh, I love that. That's something that I feel like we can get lost in the mix of too, of like knowing how to best title things. Like, you've been in the business doing that for a very long time. Is there any like app that you know of, or like a shortcut of how to come up with titles of like how to present ideas?
Yeah. So what I like to do is I come up with all the ideas of like things I think would be interesting to talk about or cover. Then I kind of sit with those. And then I try to think of, this is actually just going to be so weird. One of my first jobs, this is like, people are going to be like, who is this? Kim Rittberg is off the reservation. Okay. So my first job was at Inside Edition, and I love that show. It was a great training ground, and their voiceover artist, his name is Steve. I love him. He's amazing, but he has a really great voice, and he would sell things like, you've never seen a cat do this. And you're like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Think about how you would make a headline spicy for like a TV show like that, or what would BuzzFeed write, right? BuzzFeed wouldn't write, check out the I'm trying to think of a boring headline. BuzzFeed wouldn't write 5 facts about homes. You're like, okay. BuzzFeed would write, if you don't read this before you buy a home, or the biggest secret you don't know about buying a home. And you're like, what is that? And it's like clickbaity. It's like almost clickbaity, but as long as you deliver on that, you're good.
Yeah.
As long as you deliver on it. But so you really have to think of those like spicy, catchy, clickbaity headlines and then deliver on it. So I think get into that voice, but get into that really, really booming voice of like a catchy TV show or a BuzzFeed headline. And then that's kind of where you're at. And it's hard to think about that from when you're inside your own business. I think we're all really precious about things. So we're like, well, my sweaters, my like embroidered sweaters, like what would be spicy about that? Well, it's like, it could be something like funny about like yarn unraveling from a cat because it's a crocheted sweater, but like it could be something visual. Your hook could be a visual hook too. It could be like, can this cat unravel this yarn in 5 seconds? And then the reveal is that sweater. I think it could be a lot of things. It could be a visual catch hook, or it could be a headline hook. But I think sometimes we need to separate ourselves a little bit from our product or our business, our service, that we don't feel so precious about it. Like we need to really get out of our own mindset and really start translating things from concept to spicy headline, from topic to clickbait.
Yes. That could be a business in and of itself, is helping people come up with those headlines. I'm like, you would be really good at this. Yeah. Cause I feel like we do, especially where content is coming at us so quickly that sometimes consuming the content to come up with the ideas can get overwhelming. And so then for some, I know this has happened to me. There are days that I'm like, yeah, I'm not creating video today. And other days that I'm like, yeah, turn it on. Let's make 5, like, and I think that honoring that energy within yourself and knowing what is triggering to you and what is motivating to you and that it can change. It's okay. And to honor that. Do you have any advice about like helping people navigate that a little bit as far as like those moments when you're like, ugh, like you just feel overwhelmed or you don't feel like you're in that place where you can create video?
Oh, 100%. I think we all feel it. I personally go through phases, especially I'm making a podcast now. Sometimes I try to batch my podcast, the creation of it, but B, the blogs and all that stuff. I really try to sit down and do it for like 4 hours when I'm feeling it so that I don't have to think about it for 2 weeks. Same with video. What I've started doing, and I recommend for my clients, is doing a mix. So some of your videos, like you were just talking about, coming up with the ideas. So you can come up with the ideas, keep that list there. When you have trending audio that you think fits, you already had the idea. Then you can shoot it or that to make it trending and timely. But another thing you can do is come up with those ideas, identify a day where you really are going to spend 4 hours or 2 hours, or not 4 hours, like 2 hours, sitting down and filming a bunch of things, cutting that up and saving that, and really, really, drizzling that through your next few months of content so that you have one video every single week for like 12 weeks so that you don't have to worry about video for that day. And also maybe you don't have to worry about video for that 3 days because maybe you're only doing 2 videos a week. That's okay. So I think really like batching a lot and being really rigid on your calendar helps a lot. Like I look at my calendar, I'm like, okay, I know that every Tuesday for the next 4 weeks I'm covered. And then I actually have a couple drafts in reels. Those could be like my Friday reels, and the other stuff can be Instagram stories. It's okay. It's the holidays. I don't need to be filming new stuff. So it's fine. You know what? Nothing's going to end. The world's not going to end if you don't post another video. But B, if you are trying to be consistent, because obviously it's good to be consistent. It's good for your audience. It's good for the algorithm on social media, but try to batch that content and plan it out on a calendar and time it. I've been using some of the planners. Do you use a planner for yours? Use a scheduler?
Yes, I will use, I love paper planners. And the problem is I started using too many, like one for work and one for business. And that kind of got me into trouble. So I use a digital calendar, but also paper.
But you use like Later or anything like that, schedulers or anything like that to schedule your social?
Yeah. I have used Tailwind and Later. What do you like?
I mean, I've used everything. I've used Trello. I've used Monday. I've used Later. I think that the thing that's tricky is like a lot of them can't schedule reels. So it's helpful for some things, but for other things, I'm like, I'm still half on. But even if the Later or whatever can get you halfway there and it can schedule in time your stories and it can schedule in time your carousels, then you only have, let's say you want to do 2 videos a week. You have 1 video you already planned out in advance. So maybe you need to manually go in and publish it, but you already made it. You did your caption in advance. And I would also recommend when you're doing your videos, try to do your caption at the same time. It's really hard to task switch. That's a really important thing for being more efficient. Like I'm very efficient. Like I run a business. I have 2 kids. I try not to work Fridays, but being efficient with like how you're switching tasks. So if you're in video mode, make your videos. As you're doing the videos, make, if not the full caption, at least like the headline of what it would be. So do the video, write the headline, put it in your calendar. Do that for like a bunch of stuff. Then you're having let's say you're doing your videos on your Tuesday for the next 6 weeks. You can plan out the other stuff, carousel stories. Those can be put in the timer. The reels, I think you can still be using those things that you came up with. Let's say you have a brainstorm document of 4 on-brand ideas, maybe some of the fun lifestyle reels about your life, but you have those ideas. And then when you're going into the app, you're like, oh, I have my idea. Now I'm just looking for music with it. Or, actually I was in a groove. So I filmed 3 reels in a row. One's in my living room, one's outside, one's in the elevator. And like, they look different. It doesn't matter. You're wearing the same clothing. No one cares. But, I think it's really important to, as you're in the groove, capture a lot of stuff. So when you're not feeling it, you don't feel like, oh, I have to make something now. And I'm annoyed, I'm resenting it. And it's not as good because you're rushing. So I think it's really important to really not task switch. I find that's very effective for me. When I'm in podcast mode, I try to do a bunch of podcasts, I do a bunch of blogs. When I'm in video mode, I try to shoot a bunch of videos, be in that mode, and then try to stick to that.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to rapid fire with you some of your favorite apps and like tools that you like to use. So favorite app for video editing on your phone?
I use InShot.
I do too. Okay. Your favorite scheduler for your personal calendar?
Oh my God. I just use Google Calendar.
So do I.
Old school.
No, I do the same thing. But
sorry, you go.
You go.
No, here's a little trick. Best tip I ever have. My husband tells everybody. We have a shared email.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have events, we put that in the shared email, and that's another calendar that's on ours. So we don't have to invite each other to events. Okay. That was my own.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Mine was, I like the Google Calendar app where if you download it, you can color code it, but then it also brings up little cute pictures of like what the thing is. So if you say dance, it'll like bring up dance shoes. It's so cute. I don't know. I really like that one.
I feel like I used to have that. And now I don't.
Now you don't? Okay. Well, that's what I like. Okay. What is your favorite mic for recording podcasts?
Ooh, I use a Shure mic. I'll be honest. The back has been falling out a little bit. But I think that's just because I've been bending the stuff, but I've been using a Shure mic. People also like a Rode. What do you use?
Mine is actually, I had an audio guy who helped me when I was first getting started, and it's an Audio Technica, and it is like the most basic microphone. And he said those fancy, like, you know, the ones that sit on the desk and they're like 360 audio. He said they actually pick up a lot more audio that you don't want because it is a 360 mic. So I bought like this really pretty basic mic, and it's been fantastic.
And so you're right though. When you're picking a mic, you don't want something. So the way to think about it is if you're talking to a mic that's one directional, and if you're getting a 360, you're getting everything, the window, the door, the lamp buzzing. So you really do want one directional if you're doing podcasts for sure.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. What is your favorite app scheduler for social?
Ooh, I jump around. I'm totally not loyal. So companies out there, you're welcome to send me a sponsored content email. I'm not loyal yet.
Yeah.
I'm not that loyal, to be honest. I've used Trello. It's fine. I've used Later. It's fine. I've used Monday. It's fine. Like, I just think it depends on who I'm working with. So if I'm working with like a social media manager on a project and they already are on something, I'll use what they're using because I have not been like long time loyal for something, but I have liked all of those.
Okay. Most flattering colors to wear on camera.
Love that. Solid, bright color. So it really depends on your skin tone. So pick a color that you feel awesome in. That's like a number one thing for being on camera is like whatever you feel awesome in, wear. Make sure it does not make noise. So people wear jewelry. Don't wear jewelry in your videos unless it's like stud earrings or like a watch maybe, but like jangly bracelets, always a no. Jangly earrings, well, podcast for sure not. It's just annoying. But make sure you're not doing anything with that makes noise. And also fabrics, be careful that your fabrics aren't making noise. If it's a reel where you're not talking, it doesn't matter, but be very conscious that like, you know, like raincoat material stuff, like that stuff makes noise. It actually, very bad. So colors, I love strong, bright colors. So I'll wear Kelly green. I'll wear like a Kelly green and a grass green. Red is good if it's in your color scheme. I wear a lot of magenta. Like, I think it's more of, it has got to be a powerful color. And black is okay. If you don't have anything else, black is okay. But if you can shift a little into like navy or a dark brown or dark gray, it adds more oomph because more things are black. So you stand out more because your outfit won't be matching other things, if that makes sense. It's just like a little different. Also though, if you have a really solid brand that you're looking to match and you have a look and feel like that, try to get things that color code with that.
Yeah, I love it. Favorite way to bond with your kids?
Oh, everything. I love them. Well, this fall, I coached my daughter's soccer league.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, it was so scary to do it at first, but I thought that we would like fight and disagree, whatever, but it ended up being such a beautiful bonding moment. And I feel like we got really close through that. But in general, I love doing art. So I loved anything arts and crafts, and physical stuff. So like we've been doing a little rock climbing lately. That's been fun. Anything physical. I like doing anything like with my hands, arts and crafts or climbing or something like that.
Oh, I love it. Okay. The number one tip you would give people who are feeling scared to be on camera.
Everyone feels scared. My number one tip is that everyone feels scared. Even celebrities are insecure after they're on video. So you're not alone. And just remember why you're doing it, right? You're doing it to serve a purpose, to teach, to grow your business. So really stick to that and don't let the noise and insecurity hold you back in your business.
Ooh, I love it. Thank you so much, Kim Rittberg. This has been amazing. Please tell everyone where they can discover more about you and connect with you online.
Great. Well, I have an amazing freebie. I have these great free download on my site. You can get it's at kimrittberg.com. So RITTBERG. And it's a free download, 10 tips to make an amazing video and how to go from camera shy to camera shine. So
ooh, I love it.
How to be better on camera. So get those freebies, and it's all at my site, Kim Rittberg. And I'm also on Instagram with the same name, Kim.
Very
Rittberg.
cool. Oh, I've loved it. Thank you so much for being on camera with me today and sharing these amazing tips. I know everyone's going to love it.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you found any of these tips helpful, please share with a friend. A rating and review is so helpful to help the show to grow. Also, if you are looking for help of a virtual assistant, please reach out to me. You can DM me at Call Me CEO Podcast on Instagram or email me at callmeceopodcast@gmail.com. And make sure to put yourself out there in video because you never know the magic that can happen by putting your face out there. Hey, are you a mom running a business who is feeling overwhelmed by balancing life and business? Yeah, I've been there, a mom of 4. I have been building business from home for now over 12 years. And I am now coaching mothers in business to help balance their lives, create strategy, and a framework that will help you to be more productive without the overwhelm. If you are interested in this coaching, you can go to CamilleWalker.co to find my resources and book a free discovery call with me. I would love to talk to you and help you find answers to creating systems that work.